This recording may contain content unsuitable for children.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will.
And I'm Brian.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons, from dangerous deities to damnable devils. And today, the Cleric's getting a class breakdown.
That's right.
Prepare yourselves.
I cast Fireball. The Dungeoncast. I charge the door.
All right, go ahead and roll a strength check for me.
19.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, you smashed through that door, no problem. Your momentum carries you into the dark chamber.
Well, I guess we should follow him.
You enter the vast chamber and are immediately assaulted with the stench of death and decay 1,000 years past.
Gross.
All right, guys, I'm going to cast light with my holy symbol.
You forgetting something?
I cast light with my holy symbol.
All right, Corbin, the light from your symbol illuminates your path, but beyond, something massive stirs in the darkness. And from it, a great skeletal form of a dragon zombie emerges.
Oh, shit.
A conjuring by the dark wizard Teruptus to guard his tomb. This necrotic beast rushes into attack.
I charge the beast with my great axe drawn.
Okay, roll AC.
Damn, a 6.
Ouch. Yeah, you miss. The dragon zombie strikes you with a mighty sweep of its claw. You're hurled across the chamber and into the wall. Go ahead and take 32 damage.
Oh man, I'm not looking good here.
I got this. I want to roll into the monster to gain flanking advantage.
All right, I'm going to need an acrobatics check for that.
Oh, shit. Critical fail.
Okay, as you attempt to skirt past the dragon, you're tripped up by ancient debris you failed to notice. You lie prone beneath the dragon. You can feel the gaze of its eyeless holes fall upon you. Corbin, your turn.
Heal me, Cleric. You can't do this alone.
Hey, I went prone. Come help me up.
All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to grab the sun symbol of Pelor to my chest. I'm going to face that dragon zombie bitch. And with righteous wrath upon my face, I cast Banishment.
Ooh, nice, nice. Yeah, go ahead and cast that.
By the power of Pelor the Ever-Shining, by his divine golden light bestowed upon me, I invoke his name and I enforce his will. Be gone, monster! I abjure you back from the nether realm from whence you came.
Dude, that was awesome.
Am I ready to do a podcast about clerics right now?
I guess we're going to find out.
Okay, well, hey, Will, why don't you go ahead and tell me what the fuck is a cleric?
Okay, so clerics are interesting class in D&D, and the final class of the 4 core classes of the game. Now, the 4 core classes of the game are classes that go all the way back to the beginning, which they are the fighter, the wizard, the rogue, and the cleric. The cleric is also going to be the first divine class that we cover. Now, in D&D, there are, of course, a pantheon of deities, if you will, depending on the setting that you're in.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten into that yet.
Yeah, we really haven't talked too much about it. And the pantheon will again vary from setting to setting. And of all the classes in the game, you can of course worship a deity if you choose. The cleric's the only class that absolutely requires that you worship a deity, because that's where you're getting all your spellcasting and your abilities from. While the wizard understands the arcane and through his intelligence and study can manipulate magics to do what he wills, the cleric actually is a pious character that through the followings and teachings of his or her religion can be bestowed spells by their god.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
So the thing about the cleric is a priest, and the cleric class is actually from what I was reading, based off the Knights Templar from way back in the day, like holy warriors, if you will.
Like missionaries and stuff like that.
Missionaries and whatnot. And it's actually kind of interesting because I've seen some iterations of the cleric or priest where you picture like a robed figure, almost like a wizard in cloth, going around like preaching the word and maybe casting like holy healing spells and whatnot.
Right.
So
clerics are healers?
They are
primarily?
healers. They can be primarily. I would say they're definitely like geared towards that. And in the past, it's definitely that's what they're known as. Like it was said like in previous to 4th edition D&D, like if you were a cleric, you're basically the party's heal bot.
Yeah, it seems that way. Like the fighter has a function. You can take hits, so you probably want to be up front, do some steady damage. Casters are going to be standing in the back usually. So the cleric's usually probably going to be healing, right?
Kinda, yes. Here's the thing about the cleric. The cleric is actually interesting when it comes to what we call full casters in the game, because they gain as many spell slots and whatnot as like say a wizard, which is another full caster, but they also gain, a lot of them will gain the proficiencies in heavy armor and even some military weapons, and they'll be out there front lining it with the fighters. They won't be dealing as much damage, but they'll be going toe to toe with beasts.
That's pretty badass. Are clerics squishy? Like, do they have good con?
They're really middle of the road. You can make a cleric pretty tanky, but the cleric, you can kind of go either way with it. It's pretty versatile. And again, that dates back to the whole Knights Templar thing, because those dudes were warriors a lot of the time, especially during like the Crusades.
Yeah.
Later on, D&D had a more defined class that was like the holy warrior, which was the paladin.
Okay.
And sometimes it can kind of get a little confusing. Like, what is the difference between the cleric and paladin? Is it just flavor? It's definitely mechanics, but we'll get into that later in the paladin episode. So yeah, clerics can be tanky, but they can be squishy and in the background too. It depends on how you build it.
Right. Okay. So you can have a cleric that's like gonna heal. You can have a cleric that's gonna get in people's faces.
Exactly.
And probably, I would assume, anywhere in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
And like, it kind of begs the question, like, well, I don't get it. If clerics are full-time casters that can also wear heavy armor and military weapons, like, does that not make them inherently more powerful than the wizard, who can't do any of those things? Like, they're a full caster, but they're stuck in that cloth armor.
Yeah.
And it's actually very detrimental for them to be wearing heavy armor, because it messes with their spellcasting ability.
Yeah, and it slows your movement down when you wear heavy armor, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. And the answer is no, it doesn't, because the cleric, though it does get some damaging spells and like the ability to blow some stuff up, like it's nowhere near the same level as a sorcerer or a wizard with their evocation spells and their just harnessing elemental powers and blowing shit up.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like, you can defend yourself, or like if you need to attack, it sounds like you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You'll be holding a weapon probably as a cleric.
Yeah, like if you were a war domain cleric, which we'll get into the domains momentarily, like, yeah, you're going to do a lot more focus on weapons and damage than, say, a light cleric or a life cleric.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's where it offsets what you would be deemed as overpowered. Is a lot of the cleric spells are focused on healing, focused on buffing your party, focused on maybe even debuffing the enemy.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
But then there's plenty of powers that just like radiant laser beam and just annihilate everything. Like there's stuff out there like that. So you do get a little bit of both, but it definitely leans more towards the supporting role for the party.
Buffing the party is pretty sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Debuffing the enemy, like, what would you do? Would you
it would be
status conditions or something?
Yeah, it would be some status conditions like blinding. I know there's some blinding stuff that you could do with radiant light.
I know there's some crossover, like Thunderwave is like one of the spells.
There's a lot of spell crossovers when it comes to spellcasting classes. There's going to be spells where you can deafen. There's going to be spells where you can cause fear. That's something that
I like
clerics
imposing
can do.
fear. That's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Where the cleric like super shines though, when it comes to like the damage output, is fucking up the undead and fucking up like fiends and demons and devils and stuff.
So
because you're holy and you're
things on the opposite side of the pantheon.
Exactly. The things on the opposite side of the alignment chart are going to get fucked up by some of your spells and your channel divinities, which we'll get into in a moment.
I would imagine in some campaigns there's a lot more undead stuff than in other campaigns.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Like
the setting is important to whether your cleric's going to be super useful or not.
When it comes to the damage output, yeah. Your cleric's always going to be useful though. Like, do not fear that.
Yeah.
what was I going to say? Oh, when it comes to, so we were talking a little bit about how as a cleric you can get into the heavy armors and the military weapons and whatnot, and some things have changed over the course of edition to edition. But one of the interesting things I was reading about when it came to like the original edition of D&D is clerics, no matter what domain or paths they took, one of the things they were never allowed to do was use weapons that were bladed.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was interesting. It was supposed to
Anything with like an edge.
Anything with an edge.
So
Just
an
not
axe, a sword,
swords,
a spear.
spears, none of those.
No arrows.
And it's because of that to this day, one of the most tropish, I guess you could say, weapons for a cleric to use is a mace. I always kind of wondered where that came from. It actually comes from the original D&D. They couldn't use bladed weapons, and they weren't really using two-handed weapons, so they were using one-handed like hammers and maces. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mace will fuck somebody up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or a flail, like
oh shit,
a triple-headed flail will fuck someone's life up. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting bit. So clerics kind of ride this line between being peaceful priests who are spreading the word of their deity and casting healing spells to frontliners wielding, bludgeoning weapons and going toe to toe with demons and stuff.
They'll flip the switch. They'll be super nice in town, and then they'll see some fucking bad guys and fucking tear them up.
Yeah, they're ready to smite some evil. Although
like,
they
have you heard the word of my god? Blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
And then fucking a zombie walks into town. They freak the fuck out. They're gonna banish the shit immediately.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, no having that. So clerics are pretty damn versatile. I mean, in that regard, but also in their domain. So we'll dive into the mechanics here in a bit, but I want to talk a little bit about deities. So in the world of D&D, deities have what is called a portfolio, which is a really bizarre word for the basically things in the universe that they preside over, like aspects, if you will.
Okay, I follow you.
Yeah, so like we'll use Palor, the god of the sun in the classical D&D pantheon.
And there it is, right? God of the sun.
God of the sun, yeah, and light is one of his domains.
Okay.
On average, most deities have 3, so I think his are like light, life, and summer, or something like that.
Okay.
It kind of it varies a little bit from edition to edition because some domains will exist, while others don't. Like I think in 5th edition right now we only have like 7 or 8 domains.
Okay.
But the domain that you take has to be one that falls into the portfolio of the deity that you worship.
Okay. So
basically, as a cleric, you've chosen to represent or specialize in a specific aspect of your deity. And it will heavily define the abilities and powers and things that you can do, depending on the domain that you choose.
Sweet.
So I don't know. You got any questions? You probably have very limited context and
the
experience.
pantheons are probably like my weakest area. Like
right.
I don't run characters that are like, I'm not a particularly religious person.
Mm-hmm.
I have studied, but like as far as D&D, I like the idea of the gods. They're pretty cool. I like how they're kind of sectioned off like into that portfolio system where they have domain over, like, there's a god of the forest and nature and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I like that's like, if you're a cleric that draws power from those things, that seems pretty cool. But for the pantheon, I guess my main question is, are all the gods good?
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Oh hell no. No. In D&D, like, you have the alignment chart, which exists, and gods fall anywhere in that alignment chart, and there's a lot of evil deities.
Okay.
And as a cleric, you can worship those deities.
So what would a cleric that you base off of an evil deity, like, what would they be like in a town setting, like trying to get people to get in on that? Like, would it be more culty, like kind of H.P. Lovecraft?
I think it would have to be more culty. I mean, okay, getting into the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, you start to actually move away from like the cleric and start getting into like warlock territory.
Okay.
Because they are not deities. They are something else entirely, and they're usually something that the deities themselves fear.
Oh, okay. They're not into that.
Yeah.
what's the fucking plane called that all that shit is?
The far realm.
The far realm.
Yeah, which is just a word for like stuff so far out there we don't even know where it comes from.
Yeah, the beholder lives there.
Yeah, and a lot of other
Fuck
things.
that.
Yeah, a lot of
All
of
them
weird,
eyeballs.
freaky, fucked up things come from there.
I showed somebody that doesn't play D&D a picture of the beholder, and they're like, "What the fuck? It shoots beams out of its eyes."
Yes, it does.
Can they see out of all these eyes?
Yes, they can.
Yeah, I was like, "Yup, it's scary, huh?"
That'll be a fun episode.
Read some Lovecraft.
The
It's fucking
Beholder.
wild.
Oh hell yes it is. Okay, so yeah, I guess it would be more culty. I think when it comes to evil deities, like they would probably have to like recruit via maybe a little bit of trickery, maybe a little blackmail, maybe
like trick
or
peop-
maybe they just
They don't give all the details.
yeah, maybe they do that, or maybe they just what's the word? They
Oh, did I not tell you about the blood sacrifice? My bad.
but
But you're gonna have to do that right now. Here's a knife.
and they're gonna hold something over your head, so you have to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that right now.
So basically Scientology.
Oh, no.
Or maybe they'll just what's the word I'm looking for? They'll appeal to certain evil people's darker nature. Maybe people are into that. Obviously, there probably will be in D&D. D&D's interesting because like it's a world where like the gods exist and everyone fucking knows it, and it's
Right.
made very fucking clear, and there's no question.
Yeah, I think is it in Player's Handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide that I was reading, where it's like the gods are real. It's like a paragraph.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like that cleric exists, and they will call down the wrath of their deity, and they will lose their power if they don't worship their deity or if they go against their deity. Like,
Right.
It's a real thing, and everyone knows it. There's no denying it.
Pretty important to stay in character with a cleric, huh?
Yeah, I would say so. I think I love clerics and I love paladins even more, but I like the religious characters, and I notice a lot of people do not like to roll religious characters, especially when they're first starting with the game. I think just the religious connotation, they just kind of like, I mean, we're American, so I think there's a lot of negativity when it comes to religion in our political.
Yeah, there's some stigma that
there's
can come
always
with
stigma
it. Like
with
people
it.
being
Yeah,
called Bible thumpers and stuff like
yeah.
that. It's,
And I think people like they hear religious, they think of all that stuff, and they don't want anything to do with it.
yeah, some people are really into it, and I know a lot of good people that worship and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's not even a question. I think it's just in the
It's in the culture.
In the culture.
Yeah,
exactly.
there's some stigma.
And I think people just want to stay away from the religious aspect of it. But I find rolling religious characters a lot of fun because it actually gives you kind of some guidance, and you can I don't want to use the word pigeonhole, but you can put yourself in like, well, I want my guy to worship a deity of well, you just go with war. Like, so you've kind of like, you got a guidelines for how your character is going to act now.
Yeah.
And it can actually be an easy way for new people to start role playing.
I think Later is a good example of
Yes.
staying in line with like, so he's all about justice, so he worships Valthonis,
Yeah.
and just everything that this guy does, smiting evil. If you kill a bad guy, you are in line with your god right now.
Exactly. And he really, really wants to personify justice. Almost
yeah.
to the point where it's like vengeance or avenging. I'm like, geez, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's a little
he's
excessive,
zealous,
but I think it's really
which
cool.
works because paladins are very zealous.
Okay.
Even more zealous than clerics sometimes. It can kind of go either way.
Okay.
But yeah, so deities exist, they're real, and the clerics are kind of here to spread the word and do whatever is in line with their god's overall mission.
Right. So the deities in D&D, the standard deities are they seem kind of like Greco-Roman based, like with the way
Some of
they're
them are. D&D is known for pulling their shit from everywhere.
Okay.
Like, everywhere. And like honestly, some of their deities are so just well defined and so ingrained in the game that is D&D that like they've been completely what's the word I'm looking for? They've been completely defined. Like that's a D&D god now. Like wherever it came from is irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, it's more. Well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say irrelevant, but maybe just like this. It's more identifiable as a D&D god than anything else.
Yeah,
like
and I'll use Tiamat and Bahamut as the main two. Tiamat and Bahamut are both like, I think the names and the ideas behind the gods originate from old Mesopotamia.
Okay.
And like at this point, like the amount of lore when it comes to Tiamat, the Dragon Queen, and Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, like Like those, they're so far removed from whatever they were, and they're so original now. Like they're just D&D gods as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So
Although you do see like Bahamut and Tiamat in things like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll be more based off the Mesopotamia type stuff.
I like bomb. It's a giant laser beam. That shit's fucking awesome.
Mega Flare is brutal as shit. But yeah, so yeah, clerics are locked in. Oh shit.
Just start that line over. Clerics are kind of locked in.
So clerics are locked into worshiping a deity, and it's going to define everything about themselves. So I guess we'll dive into the mechanics.
Cool.
So at level 1, we'll start with the hit dice. Clerics fall in the same category as rogues, like not as much HP as a fighter, but definitely more HP than a caster like a wizard or sorcerer. So a D8.
Can take some hits.
You're going to be automatically proficient in light armor, medium armor, and shields, and all simple weapons. So a little bit more defensive.
Okay.
Than offensive there with those weapon and armor proficiencies.
Simple weapons. What's a more simple weapon? Short sword.
I think short sword falls into that.
The martial weapons are more advanced.
Yeah,
weaponry,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
It's gonna be like mace. I think maybe the short bow.
Yeah, not crossbow, right? Is that?
I don't think so. I mean, we got the book here. We could go look, but
okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be just like a club. A club is a simple weapon. A dagger is a simple weapon.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be all simple weapons.
Okay.
But when you pick your domain, it's actually gonna change up your proficiencies. If you choose war domain, you'll get other proficiencies, and we'll go over that.
Okay.
In a minute. Your saving throws are in wisdom and charisma, and this is okay. So when it comes to religion and your knowledge of the divine, it's based off your wisdom in this game.
Okay.
It's based off your intuition and your in tuneness with your deity.
Okay.
And so that's reflected in your spell casting ability for the cleric is going to be your wisdom. So as a cleric, you're going to want high wisdom.
Because you're going to cast, like, when you cast stuff, it's like through prayer, right? Like you're going to have a lot of verbal stuff where you like call to your god for that power.
Exactly.
Okay.
One cool thing about 4th edition was all the power sources were defined and divided. So like when you were a cleric, your powers were called prayers.
Okay.
When you were a wizard, your powers were called spells.
Okay.
When you were a druid, I think your powers were called evocations.
Okay.
And I just kind of liked mostly the idea that like these spells aren't spells, they're prayers that you can pray and something happens.
Yeah, it's a little different from magic.
Exactly.
Even though it looks like magic.
Exactly. In this game and in all other iterations of D&D, they're all just called spells. Okay. But I kind of liked the classification difference. I just liked it.
It implies
it was
more
cool.
divinity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so your spells are going to be based off your wisdom score, and you're also going to be proficient in wisdom saving throws. Okay. Which is a pretty good saving throw to be proficient in. Also charisma, which makes sense because I feel like you'll have a reinforced strength of personality as a cleric because you have to be resolute in your faith.
Right.
I feel like a lot of that comes from charisma and your strength of will and personality.
Yeah, if your wisdom, if your alignment with your god like starts to fall away, you get less powerful, right? Is that how it works?
I mean, there's nothing mechanical for that, but yeah, theoretically that's how it would happen. And like a fallen cleric might just completely lose all their divine powers. You'd have to do something pretty fucked up.
Now you're just like a club wielding dude.
Yeah, exactly. Now you just suck, because you're not a fighter.
No.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the saving throws, wisdom and charisma. You're gonna be able to choose 2 skills from this list: history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. So like some of it is a little brainy, but most of it is like just really like insightful kind of stuff. Really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what's the Zen that Buddha has reached? He's very
enlightened.
Yeah, much like enlightened stuff that
like if you're
medicine.
If you're a cleric and you're devout, you're obviously studied. You have to be studied at least a little bit in like what your god is interested in. So you can like you're basically the mortal. You're carrying out the will of that deity.
Exactly.
So you want to be studied and know like what you're supposed to do that.
Exactly. And like so like things like medicine and insight, History makes sense because you're going to know the history of your own religion and probably the history of other religions that you both maybe like and really don't like.
Yeah, the gods
they have alliances and they have rivalries.
Yeah,
and
like a sister goddess or like something like that, where you could technically like, oh, it's like I worship you, but I don't worship you, even though we're kind of in line a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you would consider people who worship like a deity that's allies with your deity, almost like a cousin. Like it's like, oh, I have total respect for your dad, but he's not my dad.
Yeah. Hey, you guys are cool and we can be friends, but like I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And you might work together against other evils and stuff, or other goods if you're on the evil side of things. So yeah, like, and then of course religion. Like you are religious. Like not being able to be skilled in religion would be dumb.
Handicap yourself like that.
Yeah. The second thing you get at level 1 is the most defining thing about a cleric, and it's actually interesting because most classes, when it comes to like their archetype, it's not as front loaded as the cleric is. Usually you have to get to level 3 to kind of start to specialize. And the reason for that, I think mechanically, is they don't want people trying to multi-class into everything and get all the cool bits and bobs of other classes.
Yeah, you got to really dedicate to get 3 levels if you're multi-classing.
Exactly. You have to pay the price to get there. Cleric is front loaded as shit. You get your domain at the door, level 1, and because of it, a lot of people will multi-class cleric. Thanic did it.
Yep,
yeah, and
it's working out pretty good.
It works out, yeah, exactly.
We need the heals.
So we'll go over the domains. Oh yeah, also before we move on from spell casting, you get ritual casting, which we went over with the wizard, and that just means that there are certain spells that count as rituals.
They don't take spell slots.
They don't take spell slots to cast if you cast them as a ritual. It just the take back from that is the drawback is it takes like an hour or 10 minutes or something like that versus however long it would have taken otherwise.
Basically, you can't do it in combat.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you or like in a stressful situation, like out of combat,
time constraints. And whatnot. Exactly.
So you need the time to do it, but it's free. Like other than the time you spent.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go over the domains here. So the domains here listed in the Player's Handbook are the knowledge domain, the life domain, the light domain, the nature domain, the tempest domain, and the war domain. Oh, and also the trickery domain.
Trickery.
Yeah,
That's
trickery.
interesting.
Those are all the domains that you can pick from the Player's Handbook. There are a few more out now in other books, but we'll go over those another time.
Okay.
And
do you mean like Volos?
No, not Volos. So the Swords Coast Adventurer Guide has I think just one more extra domain, and then the Unearthed Arcanas have come up with like 4 or 5 extra domains.
Those keep coming out too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll get to that eventually.
And I want to touch on that more when it's official,
right?
Because the Unearthed Arcana stuff is just like playtesting.
Yeah, it's basically speculation at this point. What's really going to be concreted and what's not.
Exactly. So, I don't know which domain do you want to hear about first?
Tell me about Trickery, because that didn't even like.
It's an interesting one for
because that's more on the evil, darker. It sounds like it anyway. Like trickery isn't something no one likes getting tricked, right?
True. And it could be like there are evil deities that have that domain. The main deity I think of when I think of the trickery domain is the moon goddess. Depending on your setting, it's either like Sehanine or Saloon from Forgotten Realms, or in my world, the goddess Nyx.
Yeah.
It's more about like illusion and trickery for the good. Like tricking foes and whatnot.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Like illusion magic.
It's more like mischievousness. It's not necessarily evil.
Okay.
It can really ride that neutral line.
I see. So it's more like applying like I don't know. I'm thinking of combat for trickery. Like, oh, I'm going to trick my opponent. So I can defeat them.
And you will get like some mechanical stuff that you can do like that in battles, like making illusory doppelgangers and stuff to like mislead cool. stuff. It's pretty cool.
Doesn't Thanic do that where he makes like 4 copies of himself?
He does.
And they run around.
He does. I do not know what spell that is, but
I forgot.
It's a pretty cool spell.
Yeah,
and it saves his life.
I like when the minis come out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like,
you just got 5
shit,
Thanics on the
guys.
field. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We just doubled in numbers, but not really.
Let's see. This is what it says here in the Player's Handbook when it comes to the trickery domain. People with the trickery domain, they're patrons of thieves, scoundrels, gamblers, rebels, and liberators. Their clerics are a disruptive force in the world, puncturing pride, mocking tyrants, stealing from the rich, freeing captives, and flouting hollow traditions. They prefer subterfuge, pranks, deception, and theft rather than direct confrontation.
Okay.
So it's like, that's a pretty interesting take on a religious person. Like,
Yeah.
like there's zealous in their own chaotic way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can run
Interesting.
that in a lot
Really
of different
interesting.
ways. Yeah. So when you choose a domain, there are certain things that it does for you as a cleric. You're going to get what are called domain spells, which are spells that you have, as long as you are the appropriate level, prepared no matter what. You don't have to spend time preparing them. They're just auto-prepared. You can cast them whenever.
That's pretty sweet.
And it's going to be things, so like for the trickery domain, it's going to be like charm person, disguise self, mirror image, pass without a trace, blink, dispel magic, dimension door, polymorph. Again, like altering the real.
That's
like,
so interesting.
illusion.
I never thought like a cleric. I never had that in mind for somebody like that.
Clerics are incredibly versatile, and I think they get passed over a lot by people who just instantly disregard them.
Oh yeah,
because they're
I don't want to
religious.
heal. That's boring.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Clerics can do a whole lot more than heal nowadays.
Man, like
Clerics are
I
fun.
I don't like hearing that when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be a fighter. That sounds boring." Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm running the fighter, and it's so much fun though.
Exactly.
Like, of course, I want to cast spells,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just like there's all these like little mini stigmas in the game. Like I don't know, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta like try this stuff out.
Yeah,
you never
yeah.
know.
The barbarian's a good one. I used to hate that class. I thought that was stupid until I ran one, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like barbarians are dope."
What keeps me away from it is the exhaustion. But like,
Oh, that's only the one
Yeah, that
branch,
one-
and only if you choose to use the frenzy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, everybody, this is Will. I just want to thank you guys for listening and all your support. We really appreciate it. And to start this bump off, I'd like to do a big shout out to our fan and friend DM Red Fox, who can be found at Castle Red Fox. He's getting this shout out for tweeting out about the show, and he's been showing a lot of support. And I got to say thank you, man. Thank you for the comments and the likes, and for the words of kindness and support that you've given us.
yeah, it's really nice to hear that. Thank you very much. We work hard on the show, and we really appreciate that you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps me get pumped about doing this, about recording the show. And DM Red Fox asked us actually to read this out loud. He wanted this to
nice.
be sent out to our
do we
listeners.
got?
And it was just some words of wisdom from our buddy DM Red Fox. And he wanted us to say, remember, no player is perfect. No DM is actually divine. Grow and learn from each other and let your imagination shine. And he told me that is a DM Red Fox original.
That's clever. I like it.
Yeah.
Good
so
advice.
so thanks for listening, DM Red Fox. Thanks for all your support. And yeah, man,
We appreciate you.
you're awesome.
And thanks for everybody else who gave the show a listen, making it this far. We really appreciate it. You can go ahead and tweet at us. We're at the Dungeoncast. You can send us an email. We're at thedungeoncast@gmail.com. We're on YouTube. Just go ahead and search the Dungeoncast. You'll see us there. We really appreciate all the support and all the feedback everybody's been giving us. The show's starting to pick up some traction, and man, it's been a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast. And if you're listening on YouTube, because of the new algorithms they got going on for publicity for your episodes, the things that help us the most are comments, likes, and subscriptions. So if you can just do 1, 2, or all 3 of those, like, it would help us out tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
We're really trying to reach that 100 subscriber mark on YouTube because it's going to open up some features to us to help us produce a better show.
Yeah, hopefully by the time you're listening to this bump, we've already made that mark.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
Also, if you could do the same on iTunes, leave us a review, positive or negative. The feedback really helps the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I think that's all we got. Are we
Yeah.
shouting out at anybody else? Hey, shout out to Sam again. Thanks, Sam.
Oh,
we
yeah.
really appreciate you listening, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for listening. And with that, I think we're back to the show.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
All right, so you're going to receive a spell-like ability for all your domains, and the trickster gets the blessing of the trickster. So starting when you choose this domain at first level, you can use your action to touch a willing creature other than yourself and give it advantage on dexterity stealth checks. Ooh. This blessing lasts for an hour or until you use this feature again.
Damn, that's useful.
So you're good at, like, again, subterfuge. You're good at trickery and
do you want to sneak up
acting
on
under the
Do you
radar.
want to sneak up on an enemy?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
or
good.
Maybe you want to give your rogue stealth to go scout ahead.
Yep. Just give them that extra. Like that basically would guarantee a rogue, like their stealth checks.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Where they get a +7 at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Stupid.
Gosh, you're gonna stealth everything. And again, this feeds into the whole cleric thing of as a support character, like a bard or the cleric, you're going to be really good at making everyone else look really good.
Yeah.
And in a way that makes you look really good.
Yeah.
So clerics are a lot of fun. So in this game, you get what are called, if you're one of the divine classes, you get a feature called channel divinities, which are a channel divinity is like a holy invocation that you can do every short rest.
Okay.
And all clerics get the turn undead one at level 2.
Turn undead. What's that?
Turn undead is basically it's a channel divinity that you can cast, and I don't think it does damage in 5th edition. Let me just look up. I know it makes all things undead have to flee. Like you can
okay,
turn
that's awesome.
undead; they have to run away. I don't think it does. It used to do damage. Let's see. Each undead that can see or hear you within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw, which is going to be garbage because they're undead. If the creature fails its saving throw, it is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. So basically it's like fear, but without the tagline fear.
That's cool. If
Makes
you're
them have to
outnumbered, you
run.
can get away.
Yeah, absolutely. It was in 4th edition. It was kind of cool because it would also do like some radiant damage. It's pretty badass.
Oh, yeah.
But each domain is going to give you a specialized domain channel divinity.
Okay.
And Trickery gives you Invoke Duplicity. So as an action, you can create a perfect illusion of yourself that lasts for 1 minute or until you lose your concentration. The illusion appears in unoccupied space that you can see within 30 feet of you. As a bonus action, on your turn, you can move the illusion up to 30 feet to a space you can see, but it must remain within 120 feet of you. For the duration, you can cast spells through as though you were in the illusion space, but you must use your own senses. Additionally, when both you or your illusion are within 5 feet of a creature that can see the illusion, you have an advantage on attack rolls against the creature, given how distracting the illusion is to the target.
Sick.
So you can create just like a mirror image of yourself.
That's really
and
cool.
even cast through it.
So let's go over what makes people break their concentration, because there's a lot of concentration-based spells.
Yeah.
So if you take damage, that
If you
probably
take damage, you have to make a Constitution saving throw. I forget. I think the number you have to hit is just 10. I
Okay.
could be wrong there. We'll look it up.
All right.
But if you fail the throw, you lose concentration and the spell stops.
Okay. So is there anything else? Like, obviously, some real-world things that make you lose concentration, getting hit.
Yeah.
That would probably, obviously you have to throw, like you said. What else, though? Somebody's like screaming at you, like an enemy maybe comes into the fight you weren't expecting and you're distracted, or like maybe a big loud noise, an explosion.
It'd have to be like an explosion or something before I make them roll a saving throw to break their concentration.
Is there anything else? That...
There's nothing else that I could think of that would break your concentration, but while you are undergoing concentration, you cannot cast any other spells that require it. And I think that's basically it.
You can't really concentrate on two things at once.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, if something like hits you and knocks you prone, yeah, I'm going to make you save for concentration, even though you didn't take damage,
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can create a double for yourself if you go the Trickery domain at
Pretty
level
cool.
2. And since we got so many domains to cover, I'm actually just going to stop there. But you can do stuff later on, like Cloak of Shadows, which allows you to become invisible. And you'll get some other stuff. Like level 8, you get a Divine Strike, which you gain the ability to infuse your weapon strikes with poison, a gift from your deity.
Man, that's
and
cool.
do extra poison damage at level 8. And so generally the Trickery domain is really just underhanded. And you can play that evilly, or you can play that for the side of good. It really just depends on you.
Yeah, you're more roguey, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But you're not doing rogue stuff. You're doing like magic-based.
Yeah,
things
exactly.
that are
And you'll kind
well,
of
not
find that
magic,
when it comes to the domains, like each domain kind of pushes you towards a different class.
Okay.
Like the war domain kind of pushes you more towards fighter or paladin,
Right.
While the nature domain kind of pushes you kind of towards the druid.
Let's get into the war domain real quick.
Okay, war domain. It's a very popular domain, and the first thing it does is it gives you proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor.
Nice.
Which at that point you have all the proficiency a fighter or paladin does.
So you're carrying that
So-
bastard sword or whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna be carrying like probably a great hammer or something, and you're gonna, or maybe just like a shield and battle axe, and
sweet.
you'll be in heavy armor, chainmail or something.
Okay.
And you're gonna have high AC, and you're gonna be able to get in there and go toe to toe and tank
Sounds
some
like
stuff.
a good character, like if you want to run a dwarf like that.
Yeah,
Sounds
dwarves
fun.
make great war priests. Absolutely. It's pretty tropish that dwarves make great clerics because they're already very lawful and very religious into their own deities.
And constituted well.
And they're constituted well. They make great war clerics. The domain spells you're going to get are things like Divine Favor or Shield of Faith, things to help you in battle. Magic Weapon, Spiritual Weapon, Crusader's Mantle, Spirit Guardians, all very, very useful in a fight. These are things that are going to protect you, give you more damage output, and stuff like that.
What's a Spirit Guardian?
A Spirit Guardian is going to be like something that you can summon that I believe will make an attack on creatures.
Oh, like an animal or like a...
It could be. It could be whatever you want. I think Merle in the Amateur Zone summons Delarice.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Yeah, so there it is.
Touch
like,
by an angel.
You know, you can flavor it however you want, but it does stuff. It does like battle combat stuff for you.
I do like Merle as like a cleric. It's pretty funny.
He's hilarious. So at level 1, you gain the War Priest feature. Your god delivers bolts of inspiration to you while you are engaged in battle. When you use the attack action, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Nice.
So, like, it's if you have a giant weapon in your hands, like that's a bonus action to hit again.
Pretty good.
That's really good. And if you have a decent wisdom, you can do that 3 times a day.
Okay, let me clarify. I want to clarify something. If I'm taking actions during my turn, I get one bonus action. That's it, right? Like I can't
you
take
only
multiple
get
bonus actions.
No, you get one bonus action per
Same
turn.
thing with reactions, right? Like
One
per
reaction
turn, it's
per
like
round.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Just checking.
Yeah, you got it. And then the channel divinity you're going to get from this at level 2 is called Guided Strike. So starting at second level, you can strike with supernatural accuracy.
I like it.
Yeah, when you make an attack roll, you can use your channel divinity to gain a +10 bonus to the roll. You make this choice after you see the roll, but before the DM says whether the attack hits or misses.
Can we do that bit again?
Yeah, you basically okay. So Guided Strike basically gives you you can do it once per short rest, a +10 to your attack roll.
Holy crap!
So almost a guaranteed hit.
Yeah,
like outside of a flub. So
holy shit.
Yeah, if you're fighting something in heavy armor that's at this point probably is 18 or 19 AC, and you roll like 4.
Yeah, you can get it.
And you have a +6 to hit, that only puts you at 10. But you can use this, bam, now it's a 20 and you've hit.
And you get that after the fact. So like you can decide like, oh, that's not going to hit. Better use my Guided Strike right now.
Exactly.
That's sweet.
It's really good.
Wow.
Especially in those moments where you really need this to hit now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah.
There are plenty of those.
Guided Strike. So yeah, as a war cleric, you're going to specialize in fighting.
Cool.
And you're going to do it pretty well. Maybe not as well as a fighter, but hey, you get all those awesome healing spells and support spells on top of it. You know what I mean?
All the buffs.
So yeah, it's really good.
Healing, man. Everybody needs a healer.
Yeah. It's handy.
Do they? Does everybody need a healer?
I don't know, Brian.
We're gonna test that out because we don't have one for the new game.
Oh, that's true. We do not.
So I'm gonna tackle that one.
Yeah, and there was a while there for the ongoing game we're playing where you guys didn't have one.
All right, what domain are we getting into next?
So next we are going to talk about the Tempest domain, which is the Storm domain.
It sounds threatening.
Yes, and it is. It is very threatening. It's actually very much similar to the War domain. It's very, very focused on killing things.
So Tempest, you said the Storm?
Yeah, Storm.
So is that like weather based?
Yeah, kind of.
Cool.
It's very Thor-esque from Marvel Comics. It's basically the War domain with a nice lightning motif to go along with it.
Hey, cool.
And as such, you get the bonus proficiencies that the War domain gets in all martial weapons and heavy armor.
Cool.
What do you know? But you get an awesome feature called Wrath of the Storm at level 1. You can thunderously rebuke attackers. When a creature within 5 feet of you that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 2d8 lightning or thunder damage, your choice, on a failed saving throw and half as much on a successful one. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier.
Holy crap.
I don't know about you, but 2d8 at level 1, 3 times a day, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a punishment for even deigning and daring to attack you. Yeah,
Rebuke
absolutely.
the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a difference between lightning and thunder?
Yes, there is actually. And I know that's a little weird. Thunder, think about it like the force or sound wave.
Yes.
Lightning is literally the electricity.
Okay,
the
so
zapping.
it's just like actual science.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Like real life. Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Very much
cool.
so. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, but lightning is like my favorite fucking element ever. It's
Oh.
cool as shit. It's
Oh
why
yeah, you like the storm genasi, huh?
Yeah, I love the storm genasi. Blue dragons are my favorite. They breathe lightning out of their faces.
Cool.
I love lightning. It's fun.
Glader's breathing that lightning out of his face.
My favorite sorcerer is a storm sorcerer. So
Cool.
It goes on. And probably my favorite cleric's the Tempest Cleric.
Sano the Stormblade. I remember.
Oh yeah, Stormblade. That's like my handle on fucking everything. Okay, so to move this along, you get at level 2 your channel divinity for the storm or tempest path is called Destructive Wrath. Using your channel divinity, you can use it to wield the power of the storm with unchecked ferocity. When you roll lightning or thunder damage, you can use your channel divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling.
Ooh.
And you do that once a short rest.
Ooh.
It's really nice.
That money.
Yeah, a lot of thundering, a lot of bolting. It's gonna be awesome.
A lot of maxing out. That's good.
And as is appropriate, the domain spells for this domain are things like Fog Cloud or Thunder Wave, Gust of Wind, Shatter, Call Lightning, Sleet Storm, Control Water, Ice Storm.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Sick flavor on that.
And you worship the god of the skies.
Okay.
So after that, we are going to get into the nature domain, which is an interesting one because it really pushes you more towards being a druid, which is interesting because you could just be a druid, but maybe you don't want to be. Maybe you want to be...
Do druids heal?
Druids do heal.
Do they heal big like a cleric?
Nothing heals like the cleric can heal, and
cleric
that's
does
appropriate.
like mass cure wounds and stuff, right?
Yeah, and the druid gets stuff like that too.
Okay.
But I would say the druid's probably the second best healer in the game? Question
All right.
mark. I'm not sure on that. Like, if I had a bet, I would bet the druid can do it second best.
Okay.
But yeah, no, nothing's going to be able to heal like a cleric, especially not a life cleric.
Right. Okay.
And that's what they do. But the nature domain is basically you're going to be probably a worshiper of a nature deity of some sort, whether that be a beast deity or a forest deity, or maybe even maybe you worship like some sort of fey deity,
or like
that's
Poseidon, like the ocean.
Yeah, but then you're getting into Tempest territory.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it could go the nature way because Poseidon should probably have domain over both Tempest and nature. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And you're just choosing one of his three aspects, so why not?
Cool.
So some of the nature domain spells are going to be things like animal friendship, speak with animals, bark skin, spike growth, plant growth, wind wall, dominate beast, grasping vine, stuff like that.
Dominate beast. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a higher level spell.
You make animals do your bidding at that point, right?
Yeah. And that's a 7th level spell, so that's pretty high
a big
up there.
one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're Aquaman. You fucking command the sharks.
Yeah. you gain a cantrip actually with this one called Acolyte of Nature, and you basically gain proficiency with one of the... You gain...
Acolyte of Nature.
Acolyte of Nature gives you learn one druid cantrip of your choice. See what I mean? You're kind of like leaning towards druid.
Well, the tricky thing kind of pushed us more toward like a rogue feel. So like, this is what the cleric's about.
Sense. Exactly. And then you also gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: animal handling, nature, or survival.
Cool. Animal handling has proven very useful.
Yeah. You also gain proficiency in heavy armor for some reason. I don't know why, but there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. And then at level 2, you get a channel divinity called Charm Animals and Plants. I think Merle does this in like the 3rd season of the Adventure Zone.
Okay.
As an action, you present your holy symbol and invoke the name of your deity. Each beast or plant creature that can see you within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
Nice.
While it is charmed by you, it is friendly to you and other creatures you designate.
Okay.
So you're a plantomancer.
I like it.
Or a naturemancer. Moving on, the light domain. Now this is a pretty classic cleric one. This is like the laser beam cleric, if you will. You're gonna be doing a lot of radiant lasers and explosions, and there's gonna be some fire also involved because fire is a source of light.
Cool.
And generally, as a light domain cleric, you're gonna be serving like really zealous, good, lawful, justice-like deities. Generally speaking, like it really depends on your campaign. Some of the domain spells you're getting from that are like Burning Hands and Fairy Fire, Flaming Sphere, Scorching Ray, Daylight, Fireball, Guardian of Faith, Wall of Fire.
Blow shit up.
Yes, blow shit up.
Superman
blow
style.
it all up. Light it on fire. It's better that way.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a bonus cantrip. What do you know? It's the light cantrip.
Cool.
And Here's where some of the blinding stuff comes into play. At level 1, you get the feature called Warding Flare, which you can interpose divine light between yourself and an attacking enemy. When you are attacked by a creature within 30 feet of you that you can see, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll, causing a light to flare before the attacker before it hits or misses. An attacker that can't be blinded is immune to this feature.
All right.
You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier.
What kind of stuff can't be blinded?
Things with blind sight, things that don't have eyes in the first place.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah,
like a slime.
Or a purple worm, I believe they don't have eyes.
Yeah, they don't have eyes.
Yeah, so yeah, there's stuff out there.
Worm.
Yeah. And then your channel divinity at level 2 is called Radiance of the Dawn. You can harness sunlight, banishing darkness, and dealing radiant damage to your foes. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and any magical darkness within 30 feet of you is dispelled. Additionally, each hostile creature within 30 feet of you must make a Constitution saving throw. Creature takes radiant damage equal to 2d10 plus your cleric level on a failed saving throw, and have as much damage on a successful one.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So yeah, absolutely.
Does it need to be daytime to do that?
No, the light's coming from your holy symbol.
Oh, because it says you're harnessing the power of sunlight, so it's just like coming
sunlight
out of you.
Comes out of your holy
Fuck
symbol. Yeah. There it is.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Your god is like, I stored this up for you.
Yeah.
Take it, my child.
Indeed. Then there's the life domain, which is really classic cleric. We're talking like the healer of healers. Yeah.
Like you are
preserving life and rebuking undeath.
Your thing is keeping things living.
Yeah, and as such, your domain spells are going to be Bless, Cure Wounds, Lesser Restoration, Spiritual Weapon, Beacon of Hope, Revivify, Death Wand, or Death Ward, not Death Wand, that's a little weird. Death Ward, and Guardian of Faith.
Cool.
You're going to get proficiency in heavy armor with this one too. You gain the Disciple of Life feature, which all your healing spells are more effective when you use a spell of first level or higher to restore hit points to a creature. The creature regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So you're just that much better at healing.
Pretty good.
And
if that's your scheme. Then.
Yeah, and there's literally nothing you could probably put together as a character that can heal better than a life cleric. It's just not possible.
So all of these domains, I mean, like you're a cleric, so let's talk about the healing aspect of that, like overall.
Yeah.
All of these guys are going to be healing, right?
Yeah, you're going to have access to healing spells. Like
what are the popular ones?
Cure Wounds, Healing Word. Those are like the lower level ones that you'll get first access to.
Okay. And how much does that generally heal? Like what kind of die?
I think the Healing Word's like barely like a D4, but you can do it as a bonus action.
Oh, that's sick.
Well, like Cure Wounds is a full action. It's something like 2d8. And of course, those all go up depending on the level of spell slot that you use to cast it. So
are those all verbal? Is that
I'm probably. Okay. I don't know. I'd have to go look throughout the whole spell thing.
Yeah.
But probably. They're probably verbal.
Cool.
Yeah. Most spells are at the very least verbal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then you get the Channel Divinity Preserve Life at level 2. As an action, you present your holy symbol and invoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. Choose any creatures within 30 feet of you and divide those hit points amongst them. This feature can restore a creature to no more than half of its hit point maximum. So that's a nice like in the bag. If everyone's starting to go down, you just pop that off.
You can hang on, finish the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're finally at the last domain here, and this one kind of pushes the cleric to a more almost wizardy kind of aspect. It's the knowledge domain. Your religion's going to be all about like lore and maybe the preservation of lore and the uncovering of lore. Very much the way Thanik kind of runs his character, where he serves a god of knowledge. And you're going to get spells like Command and Identify, Augury, Suggestion, Non-Detection, Speak with Dead, Arcane Eye, and Confusion. Very cerebral kind of spells that mess with the mind. You're going to gain Blessings of Knowledge, which you learn 2 extra languages, and you also become proficient in your choice of 2 of the following skills: Arcana, History, Nature, and Religion. All brainy skills.
Yeah.
Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of these skills. Again, just you're super smart.
Yeah.
Channel Divinity at level 2 called Knowledge of the Ages. You can use your Channel Divinity to tap into a divine well of knowledge. As an action, you choose one skill or tool. For 10 minutes, you have proficiency with the chosen skill or tool. So like you just always have an extra skill or tool in the bag. Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, you're just good at knowing things or learning things or understanding things.
Let me just temporarily know this shit so I can do it real quick.
Absolutely. So the brainy cleric, if you will.
That's cool. I think a lot of people are scared of like I've heard a lot of people voice their insecurities about like living up to like a character that they're role playing that's a lot more charismatic than them or a lot smarter than they are, but they want to role play this thing. Do you have any suggestions for people?
Just do it. Just dive into it. Do your best, and you will grow accustomed to rolling the character. You won't learn how to do it until you do it. And as long as you got a good DM and group that's supportive, like you'll all make it work together.
And Cleric seems good for if you're having trouble role playing. You mentioned it earlier. It gives you a lot of guidance on how to be, on how to exist, and like you can't really fall out of that and change it up in the middle of your quest or whatever, because if you do, you will be powerless.
Exactly. It just gives you a nice little outline to kind of a little template to plant yourself in.
Yeah, Cleric sounds great for learning to role play.
Sounds cool. I would say so. It's not a bad first class.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit more bits and bobs to mess with as a new player than say a fighter, but I don't think it's overwhelming in any way.
Yeah, maybe you want the fighter aspect, but you want to heal, or you want to be, you want to worship a god. And, it's cool. It's not for everybody, but nothing's for everybody. So
yeah,
definitely cool. Do you want to roll out one of these clerics?
I think you should, because you have minimal experience with the cleric, and I'd like to see what someone who's never done a cleric creates.
Tempest it is.
Okay, Tempest. Hell yeah, Tempest is dope as shit.
Okay, so we're getting into this. Today we're going to be rolling the cleric. I've decided to go with a Genasi, and it's going to be of the water element.
Hell yeah. So what do you get as a water Genasi? Real quick, list it off.
Let's see. I get to breathe air and water, which is dope. I get a swim speed of 30 feet, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I get acid resistance, so I resist any kind of that's poison, right?
It's a damage typing. No, it poisons its own damage typing.
Okay, so acid its own. Okay, got it. And then I get the shape water cantrip, which is basically what it says. I get to shape some water. I could do ice too, right?
Probably not.
Probably not. Ice is a different kind of.
It probably specifies. We'd have to look it up.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that no, you wouldn't be able to shape ice.
Okay. Sounds cool. And I get to speak primordial.
Yep. There you go. Language of the elements.
Yep.
All right. So you are going to, let me see here. You're going to get saving throws and wisdom and charisma. So go ahead and mark those down.
Okay.
You get to choose 2 skills from this list: history, insight, medicine, persuasion, or religion. Any of those call out to you?
History, insight,
medicine, persuasion, and religion.
Definitely gonna go with religion, and I don't know. Let's go with persuasion.
Okay, sounds good.
He'll be more of a the missionary style, preacher kind of okay. I want you to join.
Oh yeah, okay.
So persuasion would kind of fit into that.
Absolutely. So because you've already decided you're going to go the Tempest path, that means you're going to have heavy armor proficiencies and all military weapons. So
cool.
What kind of weapons do you want this guy walking around with?
Ooh, I like the flail. That sounded really cool.
Yeah, go with a flail.
Yeah, flail.
Flail and shield, on the other hand?
Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah. That's badass.
He'll have I don't know, what kind of materials for shield do you think a water Genasi would have?
That'd be cool if he had reinforced turtle shell shield.
Yeah, big
that'd
turtle
be badass,
shell, a big ass piece of coral or something like that.
That'd be dope. I like that.
Cool.
Or a turtle shell with coral all over it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll have a big turtle shell seal, something animal like. Yeah, that's cool.
I like that. That's dope.
All right. So I'll have a flail. I'll write that here in my weapon. What's the attack bonus for flails? Do you know it off the top of your head?
Well, you don't get attack bonuses based off your weapons.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
okay,
it's going to be your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay.
Let me see if there's anything else that you need to be writing down before we roll your ability scores.
Is flail bludgeoning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Let's see. You're going to get. Gosh, damn it! Where is it? The Wrath of the Storm feature, which is that one where if someone attacks you, you can basically strike them with lightning. You can do it equal to your wisdom mod in a day, so you get that, and then we're gonna have to pick some spells out for you, but we might as well just roll the ability scores at this point.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
3, 5, 2, 5. 2, 2, 5, 2, 3, 6, 6, 5. Holy crap. 3, 2, 3, 1. Holy shit, you only rolled 1 4. That was the most crazy roll I've ever done. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to do some math for you. So we got a 13. Oh, your math is wrong. We got a 9. Yeah, we have a 17. We have an 8.
Damn, you have 2 negative scores. You have a...
Yeah, maybe he's a fucking
11.
idiot.
Yeah, he's just really stupid.
Like he knows what he knows, and God is good or whatever.
In all honesty, I like this. You're well rounded. You're really good at like a couple things, mediocre at a couple things, and really bad at a couple things. That's not half bad. So you want to start with your highest numbers,
Yeah.
or you want me to just list off what you got?
Yeah, give me what I got.
All right, from top to bottom, you got a 17, a 14, a 13, an 11. A 9 and an 8.
Oh, right. Okay. Pretty balanced, though.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. I actually like the spread. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, so obviously wisdom and constitution are going to be the higher stats.
Yeah.
My intelligence will probably be the lower stat. Give me the lowest stat, an 8, right? For con?
8.
Or for intelligence? 8.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and put that in my intelligence. He's going to be kind
a
of...
dummy.
Kind of stupid.
Yeah. All right.
But it doesn't matter because he knows the rules of his god
Where
or
you
her god.
Where are you putting that 9?
Maybe I'll roll a female character for this one.
Maybe dexterity. You don't need to be dexterous. You're in heavy armor. And
yeah,
stuff.
let's do the next thing for dexterity.
Oof, 9.
9? Okay.
Oh, man.
9
So
dex.
nasty bad. Okay, so now you got nothing but positive stuff.
All right.
Here's the thing. You got a balance between your con, your strength, and your wisdom.
Well, I get a +1 to wisdom, right? So,
You do.
Let me put that 17 there,
All right.
so make it an 18
There you
for
go.
wisdom.
Yep.
So very stupid, but very
Yeah.
wise.
I would almost definitely put that 14 into strength then.
Okay.
Because otherwise you'll have a 13 strength and like be garbage.
Okay. 14 strength.
Um,
I get a +2 to con.
+2 to con, so you can put that 13 there, I guess. Or
And make
that
it a
11.
15.
Yeah, or an 11 and
Oh,
make it a
I
13.
hate odd numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take the 13 in con, so make it a 15.
Yeah.
All right. And then charisma, what am I left with? The 11?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, is what it is.
It's just...
So,
Okay. So that is a weird spread.
yeah, it's pretty bizarre, but I like it. I think it's cool.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to spells. That's really all that's left. You're wielding a flail. You got halfway decent stats across the board. You got some cool lightning shits. So let's talk spells. You're gonna be
Turtle
able to
shield.
pick 3. Yeah, you got the shield. You're gonna be able to pick 3 cantrips. I'm gonna just list them off to you, and I will tell you what to do if you want to know more. Let me see here. Cleric. All right, here we go. Cleric cantrips: guidance, light, mending, resistance, sacred flame, spare the dying, thaumaturgy.
Resistance and spare the dying. Can you explain resistance to me just real quick?
Well, there's resistance the mechanic, but there's also resistance the cantrip. So let's look it up. Let's look it up. It's back here. God damn it! So many pages. So
Definitely
many
spare the dying.
all the
though.
spells. All right, resistance. You touch one willing creature. Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one saving throw of its choice.
Oh,
So helps boost saving throws.
yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, resistance. Spare the dying basically means I think you just automatically stabilize.
Yeah, if
someone.
somebody goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. You get one more.
Oh, can you read them off to me again?
Let's see. We got
I only got
light,
2.
mending, sacred flame, and thaumaturgy are the ones
What's
left.
mending? Is that like repairing stuff?
Yeah, it's like repairing objects.
and not people or
No, not people.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
You sure?
Mending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You fix shit.
Yeah, I have an idea for like who this person is a little bit.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Like in the world I'm gonna make. So
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah,
All right.
I like picking the spells first and stuff like that because it helps me like get an idea of like who this person is based off of
Right.
what they do.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So at level 1, you're gonna get 2 first level spells, and I'm gonna go ahead and list those off to you.
Okay.
You're gonna get here are your options. Okay, so let me rephrase this. As a cleric, it's not like a wizard, where the wizard has spells that he knows and then prepares from that list. As a cleric, you get access to your entire spell list, and you get to prepare X amount a day, which I'll actually read that off right now. Let me see
Okay.
here. Preparing casting spells, blah 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 blah. You can choose a number of cleric spells equal to your wisdom mod plus your cleric level per day. So in this case, what's your wisdom mod for?
Yeah.
So 4 plus your level, so you can prepare up to 5 a day.
Cool.
but you only have 2 first level slots that you can use in a day.
Right. So
But you
you
have
have
an option of
5
5.
options. You get to pick 2 of them per day.
So what we'll do is you'll choose 5 spells that in general you'll do to probably have prepared every day.
Okay.
That you might change up in a specific scenario, but for like the everyday, you got these 5 ready to go.
Right. Obviously, a couple healing spells and then some flavor spells.
Yeah. So we're gonna choose 5.
Okay.
You have Bane, Bless, Command, Create or Destroy Water, Cure Wounds, Detect Evil and Good, Detect Magic, Detect Poison and Disease, Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, Inflict Wounds, Protection from Evil and Good, Purify Food and Drink, Sanctuary, and Shield of Faith.
Create or Destroy Water.
That makes sense because you're Tempest, so I would definitely write that one down.
Okay. Destroy Water, and then
Probably Cure Wounds.
Yeah, let's
You're
go
gonna
with
need
Cure
that,
Wounds.
Yeah.
There were a lot of those. So
Bane, Bless, Command.
what's Bane?
I think Bane makes things fear you, but let's find out. What does Bane do? Up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within range must make a charisma saving throw. Whenever a target fails the saving throw, makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, the target must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from the attack roll or saving throw. So you're debuffing them.
Cool.
You're subtracting from their ability to attack and saving throw.
Let's go with that one.
Okay,
Bane sounds
Bane.
pretty cool.
I know that Bless is the opposite of Bane, where it's buffing your guys. And if you bless them, they get to add a d4 to their stuff.
Oh man, you can really tip the fight like that, huh?
You Bane and Bless, yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take Bless. I'm going to
Okay.
go with Bane.
Shield of Faith will keep you protected in a fight.
Yeah, let's go with
Yeah,
Shield of
it
Faith.
adds +2 to your AC.
I can do that to anybody, right?
You can do it to anybody. Yeah.
All right, Shield of Faith it is. And then I get one more.
All right, one more. Inflict Wounds. That's pretty brutal.
Whoa,
It's an attack spell.
You're obviously inflicting some wounds.
Yeah,
what's the
I think
meat
it's
of that?
usually flavored like an invisible force of some sort just starts fucking cutting them up. Like they can't see what's happening, but like wounds just start opening up all over them.
Cool. That's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty
what,
dark.
What else do I? What are my other options again?
For damage, pretty much nothing.
Well, what else do I got going on?
Let me see. Command is nice, where you can force somebody to basically they have to make a saving throw, and you issue them a 1-word command, and they have to obey if they fail.
That one.
Okay, command is a good one.
Yeah.
D'Artagnan is going to have command at level 2. I guarantee it.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
That sounds cool because this person is going to be kind of dumb. So like they're going to be compensating for stuff by like with their spells, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their shortcomings are going to be rebalanced by like I might not be able to persuade somebody, but I can command them to do shit through my god.
That's true, but it's a temporary command, but still it'll work out. I'm sure
Pretty good.
there are some really good uses for it. And yeah, there's your level 1 cleric. You got the Tempest domain. You got as a Tempest domain, you get a couple spells that are always prepped to add on to your 5.
Nice.
Fog Cloud and Thunder Wave. So there's your damage 1 Thunder Wave. So there you go. You got a couple thunder powers there, and yeah.
Thunder Wave. Do I get any other proficiencies as a Genasi?
Not as a Genasi, but you do need to choose a background.
Yeah. Okay.
Where does this guy come from? Is he a soldier? A sailor?
More of like the town. He's like in the church.
Okay.
Like basically, I picture him like just kind of spreading the word within the nation. Of I haven't picked a god yet either, but I don't know what.
Well, it'd be some sort of storm
it's
deity.
based off the campaign too, huh?
Yeah.
So
It would have to be one of your deities. So
Yeah.
some sort of storm deity.
we'll figure that out. It'll be like that.
Yeah. So
Because that's
so
so.
maybe some Poseidon-like god.
Yeah, I feel bad because that's
Well,
really
Acolyte
important.
is a religious background.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. You gain proficiencies in insight and religion and 2 extra languages.
So if I already picked religion, I should pick another one.
You
huh?
should pick another one from the cleric.
What
It
did
was
I get
like
again?
history.
Well, I'll take religion for this one. Yeah, history.
Um,
I'm definitely taking insight. That's
medicine, and you already took persuasion.
Okay, I'll take medicine over religion.
You only
For
get
that.
you actually look. You only got 2 choices. And you got history and medicine because
medicine.
you already have persuasion and religion and insight. from your backgrounds and stuff.
Right.
So you have history, medicine.
Okay. So
Which one?
I'll be I'm taking insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion.
There you go. You get 2 extra languages
To
help better spread the word.
Yeah. What are some
Elven,
good?
dwarven, gnomish, halfling, giant, orcish, infernal, celestial.
Oh shit. Elvish, definitely.
Yeah.
Or Elven.
Whatever you want,
we
man.
flip back and forth?
I ain't calling it Elvish, but yeah, I feel you.
Okay. Oh damn. Okay. Elven. Shit. Well, where they're gonna be in my world is kind of near some dwarves, so dwarvish it is.
There it is. Alrighty. And then
Dwarven,
you
whatever the
gain the feature Shelter of the Faithful,
Okay.
which basically says you command the respect of those who share your faith and can perform the religious ceremonies of your deity. You also have ties to a specific temple dedicated to your chosen deity, and you have a residence there. Furthermore, people who worship your deity will be more inclined to give you like food and lodging on your adventure.
Awesome.
And there you go. You've built yourself a Genasi Tempest Cleric. What are you going to name this person? And is it a male or female?
It's gonna be male.
Okay.
And okay, so for the name, it came up with Corbin of the Reef.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, he's gonna be live under the water, and when he comes up, when he surfaces, the people are like, "Oh, this asshole's back."
Yeah. It's funny.
But-
I don't know. When you said the reef, I instantly thought of the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just thought, what if this dude had an Australian accent, like an Aussie accent?
Oh, maybe he will.
Yeah, that'd be dope as shit.
you'll
That'd be
have heard-
hilarious as fuck, though.
You'll have heard it by now, whatever
Oh,
we
yeah,
come
that's
up with
true.
for it, because
That's true.
it's going at the beginning of the episode. So thanks for listening to the special intro. We hope you like it. We'll probably promo it and everything.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, we'll see if how Jake sounds with an Australian
It'll
accent, because I
probably-
think he did agree to this.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be terrible, but let's hear it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for listening, and yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's the
we'll talk
episode.
to you later. Bye.
Woo.
By his divine golden light bestowed upon me. Damn it. Yeah. By his divine golden light bestowed upon me, I invoke his name and I enforce his will. Damn it. I invoke his name and I enforce his will. Begone, monster! I abjure you back from the nether realm from whence you came. Sean.
Would you rather be Southern?
I don't know. Did I go southern?
It's like a cross between Australian